Hey, happy Monday evening, everybody. I hope you've had a good day. Chris Baker from Release Your Unconscious. See my sign behind me. Today's a good day for a good day. Always a good day for a good day. So I hope you have made the most of your Monday. So I wanted to come to you today. Every day I get let's call it a meme from our president of the John Maxwell team, Paul Martinelli. And today the meme that came through was saying that the truth lies beneath the surface, or lies just beneath the surface, I think. And there's a picture of an iceberg. Now, it got me sort of thinking, hey Steve, brother, how you doing? It got me thinking about a number of things, actually. And one of the things it got me thinking about was asking questions. And how good are we at asking questions? The truth is, I think we're not, generally, all right? And there's the thing with this, where we say the truth lies just beneath the surface. And when I'm talking about questions, I'm talking about us asking questions of other people, but also of ourselves. And this can be at work. So I started looking at it as from a leader's perspective. So I'm designing a course on leadership at the moment, or a 2-day summit on leadership. And so I was thinking about it there and thinking how leaders need to ask questions. They've got 2 of these and 1 of these, so they should listen, but they also need to ask effective questions so that they get the answers that they're looking for. And the answers are not necessarily on the surface. Sometimes you have to dig a little bit. And so that got me thinking about a doctor, right? So when you go to a doctor, you've got a symptom. So it could be, let's give my example. I went for a massage not last Friday, the Friday before, because I had real pain in the back of my shoulder and I could hardly stand up. So I went, and Macy, the massage therapist, the guy was showing me, and he showed me on a map how it's not necessarily the shoulder that was the problem. And when he started looking at me, it was the stiff neck. And so we started working on the neck, and guess what? The shoulder started getting better. So the truth was not in the shoulder, the truth was in the neck. But if he hadn't asked me about, where I was feeling, how I was feeling, what I wanted to do, he wouldn't have found out the answer. And so I started thinking about that from a leadership perspective, and how, leaders need to make sure that we ask our employees, our team members, the right questions. But then I was thinking, leadership is not just about at work, all right? So we're all leaders, because leaders are people that create followers. In other words, people that influence. And, my good friend who's watching now, Steve Gorlin, is a fellow influencer. We'll be up in New York, next week now for a 3-day summit working on this again. It's the second one we've done. And everybody is an influencer, therefore everybody is a leader. Right? So how do we ask questions? We're not taught to ask questions. So how do we learn? Well, we learn through other people helping us to understand. So that was really what I was thinking about today, is how do we ask good questions? Then as I was out walking the dogs just now, I was thinking, so how do we apply that to ourselves? And so we need to ask ourselves the questions and be honest with ourselves with the answers. Because how we're feeling on the surface is not necessarily what's causing the problems inside. We've all got external fears, but we've got internal fears as well. And these internal fears are the ones that basically cripple us from the inside out. Okay, I can think of my circumstance when, I was looking at leaving Disney and going on my own full time in this leadership development and coaching business. And the internal fears were things like, will I be good enough? Will I be able to get clients that will pay me to teach them? Now, I know that I've been teaching and coaching and leading people for 30 years and successfully, and I get very good reviews. But that's different when they work for you. The internal fear could then be, when I go out and do this and I'm relying on that for a living, am I worthy? Am I good enough? Will I be able to support myself and the family and the dogs that you just heard barking? Right, so I had to ask those questions of myself. And basically the only way you make that decision and you go out and you actually do something is to overcome those internal fears. So are you asking yourself the right questions? Are you giving yourself the right answers? Are you facing up to those internal fears, or are you hiding from them? Now, this is why, again, I wrote my program, Your Third Quarter. It's really aimed at people like myself that are in the third quarter of their life. So they could be 35, 40 years onwards. It doesn't matter, because depending on who you speak to determines how long people say we live. But if you're in the third quarter, that's where you need to step up your game. That's where you need to get real. That's where you need to start asking these questions and be honest with yourself to overcome the fears that are holding you back. And the fears are not on the surface. The fears are internal. So you have to go under the surface. You have to dig deep, answer those questions, be honest with yourself, and then you'll grow. So I'll put a link in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description, which is to my online course. Sorry, dog's barking. So that's a link to my online course. It takes about 3 weeks to go through it, and that's because I sort of release the information over a period of time, because I want you to take your time and go through it. The actual link to the training is free. Right, there's 2 or 3 videos in there where I share some information, British stories like this, and thank you, Steve, for saying this is gold. I appreciate you saying that. It comes from the heart, that's why. Okay, it's me sharing my experiences and wanting to help you guys and add value. And, you know, like it says in my tagline, in my business name up here, it's Release Your Unconscious, and it's developing leaders everywhere, and that's what I want to do. So go and take the free training. You know, it will drip out over the next 3 days, the free training. If you want to take the course after there, it's really great value for money. You know, I've got some things in there that are special bonuses that I want to share with you for anyone that signs up in October. So go and take it. And watch out for my broadcasts on Facebook Live. I'm going to keep them up this week, probably every day this week, on my own page, but also on Release Your Unconscious. If you're not following me on Release Your Unconscious, I suggest you do so, because that's where the majority of my posts will be. So thanks for listening. Thanks, Steve. Looks like Cynthia was on too. If you're watching the replay, put some notes in the comments, you know, where you're watching from. Use the like, the love and the wow buttons to let me know that you like the messages, and I'll catch up with you guys real soon. So have a great evening. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.